Let's keep
Right.
going.
Okay. So on the Claude part, what specifically I'm going to talk about is we are going to take a particular product URL, a D2C page URL, and this is one workflow that I built where it extracts the images of the products. It reads the USPs or whatever reason to believe, etc., whatever you have noted down in that particular page, and converts that to an ad. I'll show a very quick sample, a 30-40 second sample of what I created for one of the brands that I'd worked with their friends, so I just asked for a URL. Okay, cool. So yeah, I'll just play this
Cancer
ad.
treatment can be tough on your gut, and around 70% of your body's immune cells live right there in your gut. So keeping it balanced matters most during treatment. Everhope's probiotic and prebiotic blend is gut support built for treatment days. 60 billion CFU, 11 research-informed strains, and 200 milligrams of prebiotic fiber, enteric coated to reach your gut intact. Made in a USFDA-registered facility and formulated with oncology nutritionists. Talk to your oncology nutritionist and shop at Everhope.
Right. So this is like this is just from the product URL or the D2C page URL that it got created, right? And what I'm going to do, because this generation takes a bit of time, I'm directly going to first start the skill, show you how it gets initiated in Claude, and then I'm going to talk about the framework or the structure of the skill, how I actually built it, right? So I'm going to move to Claude now for a major part of the session. So I'm just resharing my screen and hope it works this time. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so I'm starting a new session. I'm calling a skill which I've named as D2C ad, and I'm going to just pick one of the URLs from chat, and maybe the first one that came, and which was on Crave Beauty oil, right? And just let me check if that's a product URL or a home page. I'm just opening that URL. Okay, I have the page now. That's a product page URL. So let me just pick that and provide it to Claude. Right. So now it will start the process where it will try to fetch different details related to images and the logo of the brand and other aspects of the brand. Like you saw in the other video, it had taken the product shot and the image, etc., automatically and created it. And I can show you the chat of that product also, right, the probiotic product, on how it started and what all things it had done. So now it will go through its process just to show you on how it generally initiates, right? It is something like this, right? So I gave this particular URL, and then it starts reading everything, tells you about the brand, about the description, and also if you see the product that I showed you, which was about Everhope, it read that it is related to oncology nutrition, and what were the main attributes of the brand, all assets that are required, it downloaded all of that, and then the SKUs, etc. The same process it will initiate for this particular URL. Now it's taking a bit of time. That's obvious with any internet product and all, right? So, but meanwhile, what I'll do is while it runs, I'll show you the structure over here and also in the presentation, right? So if you look at this main hook, or the questions that it is asking, it analyzes all these attributes, and then it asks that, okay, what is the main hook that you want to give? And initially in the hook, it gave me like 4 or 5 different options. And within that, I chose this particular hook that I want to go ahead with: cancer treatment can be tough on your gut. And with a supporting fact, which I added from my side, that 70% of body's immune cells are there. And then it locked in and then started working on the script, etc. I'll just do a quick check if there are any questions. Yeah, so it is operating now. Reference docs read. It is a skincare product. The frustration problem lane, Shopify CDN, not a supplement, and it is creating the build folder, etc., and everything. Now, it does take some time. It is not that it happens instantaneously. So I'll keep shifting and showing you the general workflow, and then we'll come back to the actual results over here, right? So if you look at the probiotic one, which I had already created, right? So if you see, it asked these things, and then it created the script, right, where it based on these ideals, and then it is calling the tooling that is required. Now there are two tools that we have synced in this, which is VEO. If people don't know about VEO, VEO is basically Google's video generation engine. If you provide a prompt, it will create a particular video. So the ad that you saw, in which that sort of middle-aged lady was having a tea, that was generated by VEO, right? And then the other tool, which is being called, is HeyGen, right? Which is an audio generator tool in which you can create avatars and create audio using that, right? So that's calling these two tools. It sort of then creates the video snippets and then brings them together. Right. So, and while this thing goes on, let me just show you the framework, and we'll come back to this. So I'll just complete the framework and then come back to Claude. Right. And just for people who are maybe new to Claude, and I hope you can see the screen now, right? There are two important things that you need to know. I know many of you have already used Claude a lot, so these are some terms that people might already know. But basically, in Claude, whenever you have to sort of create a workflow which you want to repeat again and again, it is typically created as a skill. And a skill is basically a markdown file which you can call. And what are markdown files? It's basically, if you have to think yourself, you create documents and presentations for you to remember any guidelines or what to follow. That it's the same thing for Claude, right? So Claude reads markdown files. So whenever you have to sort of save certain amount of knowledge, etc., it is going to use those markdown files for knowledge. And then if you want to create a workflow which is sort of repeated time and again, then you create that as a skill, and it reads that. And a skill could be as long as you want. It could be, right now I have like connected 4 or 5 steps. You could have like a 50-step skill as well, which gets called automatically again and again from Claude itself, right? Now, in this particular case, what is happening? I'm giving a URL. What I'm getting back is a video. But what is happening behind it, right? What is the workflow? So what it does is that it reads, there is a markdown file called D2C playbook that I've created, where it reads that file, and then it runs certain tools to sort of crawl that page, get that information about that page and all, and then converts it into the questions that I was showing you for Everhope, like what should be the hook, what should be the should we show prices or not. So few questions is what it creates into. And then once I approve those questions, it creates a script and a storyboard. So that is what like Claude is doing based on the context and the page that it has already written. But this is after reading this markdown file, which I've already created, where in general, I've given a sort of a framework for ads that I want to start with problem. Then I want to agitate the person. Then I want to present the solution. give a proof, and then have a call to action. And this framework as a common thing Claude uses to create the script, right? Now, once I approve the script and storyboard, then it goes to the two tools that I mentioned, which is VO and HeyGen. It then uses those tools to create these video clips, stitches them together, and provides it for you. Now, how does it do the assembly? Because VO and HeyGen will be creating raw clips. It is not like they will not give a stitched video together. So for that, Claude Code uses some open source tools, which is a Chrome tool where it can create these images and ffmpeg, which acts as a video editor. And it is nothing that all of this is available in your system. It is not for free. There is no charge for that assemble thing. This generate thing is definitely paid. That depends on the APIs of Google and HeyGen that you take. And if you are calling those APIs, etc., that it gives you the videos as per that. And the last part is also optionally I give the option to connect to Meta MCP. If I am satisfied with the ad, I can launch it as an ad campaign. Those of you who do not know about Meta MCP, there is a webinar that I had done a few days back where on how to launch campaigns with that. You can refer to that, or we can cover it later sometime. We'll not be covering that in this session today. But that's the basic process of what happens once the skill is called, right? Okay, so and this is basically in the D2C playbook that you need to get the retail product images, the brand logo, colors, types, etc. So like the Everhope colors that it figured out, or the fonts, etc., that it used was very much as per Everhope, right? It was not something which was different. And what are the claims and facts, etc., that are needed, right? And these I've already explained, but basically the B-rolls using VO and the narrator, which is HeyGen. Now, HeyGen, one setup that I did beforehand was to create the narrator's avatar. So the lady that you saw in the video ad that came and spoke for a few seconds introducing the product, that avatar I had already created in HeyGen. That is a one-time step, and typically if you're working for one brand, you would want to have like few of these narrators which would be as per your brand, the kind of persona that you want. You create these narrators, put it in HeyGen, and you can always call HeyGen to create those videos. And these tools just illustrated Claude Code doing all the instrumentation, orchestration, VO doing creating those videos, HeyGen creating that narrator on camera, ffmpeg and Chrome is the one that is stitching the video together. What you typically do in a Canva or any other video editing tool, that is what it is doing on its own. And even if you do not have the skill of editing video on any of these tools, you can always use those prompts to combine this together and stitch it together. And Meta MCP is something to push in the final step as ads. So that's the basic framework. And this can be used for any, I'm just going to switch to Claude again and see where that process is so that we can complete that process altogether. But this is a basic framework, a very simple one that I created for a D2C ad. Similarly, there could be a lot of extensions of these this kind of a framework. So, for example, if you want to create create a lot of audio effects in your videos, right? I have an educational startup called Bibli, and where it is about creating phonics videos and all. Their sound effects are a lot important. So I have given a library of sound effects that it uses to put it at the right juncture, right? If let's say you want to create an ad not in the past framework, like a problem solution framework, maybe like a podcast style, you can provide that as a framework. So it is, you need to evaluate your use cases, what are the different types of ads that you generally create, and put it as a framework or in the markdown file what workflow you want to follow. This is one workflow that we are following, but the same tools, very same tools can be used for any sort of framework that you want to build, and very much build it within Claude itself.
So yes, there was a question, how did you generate the audio? I'm not sure if you answered that just now.
No. So audio was from HeyGen itself. So when in HeyGen, when you give a narrator, it creates both the video as well as the audio with a proper lip sync, right? So you do not need to like create audio separately, because even if you create, let's say, audio from tool like 11 Labs or other places, and you then try to fix it with narrator, the lip sync won't be proper. So I generally prefer to directly do it with HeyGen, where it combines it together. Good thing with Claude is that it can call all these tools. HeyGen has an MCP, and it can call all these tools to just stitch everything together, right? Okay, so if you see this one, it is still working. I don't know. I think it's working a bit slowly than what the earlier renditions were. I am not sure if it is because of screen sharing and everything else running on my system. But typically, once it downloads all these assets, etc., that is when it will ask those questions of what the hook is and what the script would be. And then once I've answered those questions, that's when it will go ahead and start stitching things together and building the full video ad. Right. Any questions at this point while it completes this run?
So question, HeyGen similar to or better than Seedance or Nano Banana?
So Nano Banana so it is more for images and video clips, right? So Nano Banana would be, and Ben, you might be better to answer these because you have explored all these models.
Yeah, I can answer this. So HeyGen primarily is a avatar video model. So what that means is it's more speaking kind of videos, right? So the lip sync and all that, they've concentrated on making that really good. So it won't have like action. It can't do like high action and all of that, right? But Seedance, on the other hand, it's like a more cinematic video model. So you can do action scenes and all that kind of other videos you can do with Seedance. HeyGen is more for explainers and that kind of use cases.
Right. Any other questions? Feel free to just open mic and ask as well.
So question, all scene board and things that are being created internally, and also when some frame may have redundant stuff, so needed to be cut, because when I do manually in VidIO, I do need to cut that redundant part in the video. So basically question on video editing.
Yeah, so that's the intelligent part that Claude is doing. So if you saw the Everhope video, the initial frame that VO created, it did not use the entire frame. Also, the audio and video of the narrator that it generated the entire 30-second audio along with the video of the narrator. But it used the video of the narrator only for maybe 5 or 10 seconds. So, and I will just go to the Everhoop one and show you the storyboard on how it shows, right? So if you see this this particular thing, right? So 0 to 7.6 seconds, VOC in one, hook plus 70% fact, and these aspects that are there. So that is what it is telling you. So if let's say you want to change the cut at this point, and I put certain approval gates, right? That only once I approve these, that's when you can go ahead and create the video. So there are like 2-3 different approval gates. One is initially it asks those 2-3 questions. Then at this stage, it before rendering it and even send it, because every API call, when it sends to VO or it sends to HeyGen, is a cost for you, right? It costs whatever, maybe 20 rupees, 30 rupees. It costs some money to generate those video screens. So before that, it will share this storyboard and it will ask, and you should apply whatever information you have with respect to the cut, etc. at this stage. Now, this can be very detailed as well. I think there might be a one. Now, for example, this one, right? So full storyboard for review, where it has given these like 0 to 2.5 seconds, these visual voiceover of this on-screen caption and all. And once I approve, that's when it is creating creating this. So for example, I've mentioned, you have not mentioned the word cancer in the on-screen caption. So if there's any edit that you need, then it can be done at this stage itself, and it will not cost you money, because it has not called VO yet, or it has not called HeyGen, or any other tool, let's say you are using CDance or other tools, etc. as well, you always keep this approval gate so that it shows you this data and you are able to move forward from there.
Also, like to add to that, like the cool thing about these agents like Claude Code is they can run in loops. So what that means is, okay, they'll produce some kind of result, and then if you like or don't like something, you can give it that feedback, and it has the capacity to keep looping till you get to a place where you're satisfied, right? And your commands can be very granular. So for video editing, you can say, okay, that third clip where she says cancer, like cut 1 second from that, right? So because it already understands editing, it can do that.
Right. So it's just that instead of a video editor tool, you are basically conversing like you give feedback to a video editor. You are able to give feedback over here to do that cuts, etc. And just to double down on the point that Ben mentioned, the video that I showed you, where the narrator is showing the product is on the left in that ad, it was a second iteration because the first iteration I did not like. So I asked that, give me another frame of it on how the product is placed. And it gave 3-4 options on where it can place the product and created that. Right. So all that can be done. So Vinay's question is, does it only work for products? You can definitely do it for real estate. The only thing that will change is that I will probably not use a PaaS framework for real estate, like a problem, agitation, and solution. It will be more related to some of the location benefits, etc. So my framework, like I've created the D2C playbook. That playbook will be different for real estate, but you can definitely do it for real estate.
Yeah, the skill, I think, right?
Yes. Yeah, and there are like few questions like that. But yeah, the skill is something like the markdown file that you create is something that you will have to vary. You can definitely do it for other brands as well. Okay, so it has come up with some questions. So you see, it is asking a hook line: an oil for acne, counterintuitive pattern break, yes, an oil, and or drying you out, still stripping your skin, right? Which is people do for acne. So these are the hooks that it has given. Now, whoever brand it is, like, do you have a preference between these 4?
I think you can go with third one. Thanks
Still
for picking
stripping.
this.
Okay. Okay. And then it is saying VO plus captions, no face, female voiceover over the B-roll plus burn, no talking head, reads more authentic next to real. Female avatar presenter. I would rather go with both the VO clips showing the problem and narrator presenting solution. Similar thing what I did for Everhope. No, generally I don't like putting price on the creative because that's something that I would like to keep it on the landing page, right? Omni, yeah, so I can go with 2. And so now it has got these questions, and then it has also given a storyboard, etc. Now it is going to take some time to do all the work, etc. So I'm going to stop presenting and I'll let Ben present more about Kyne, and in the meanwhile maybe answer some questions over there. But that's the workflow like if you see what it did was it extracted all the assets, asked you questions, gave suggestions on the script, and then now it is going to do the work on actually building the script, etc. Ben, I'll take some questions. Meanwhile, you can start presenting about Kyne.
Sure. So are you going to answer the questions in the chat, or shall I get started? Or
yeah, just let's just take the questions first. How is the quality of any overlay text and grammar in the generated video? I've not seen an issue in any of these. And again, like overlay text, see, grammar is definitely much better than anything what I generally get from copywriters, because Claude is writing. So I've not seen an issue in that. Right? Does this work only with a product URL? So this, see, a product URL is a particular workflow I have created, but you can definitely have your own workflow as well. Or in the same skill, you can have optional workflows where sometimes it can start with a script, sometimes it can start with a URL. If we want to generate more videos for Meta, can we do that too? Yes, of course. Right. We just need to run this process again It will ask before calling VO API or HeyGen, because otherwise, yeah. So I answered this already, but these are approval gates that you tell in the skill very strictly, that that always ask before you do these calls, because it will cost you money otherwise. Can you show the skill as well? I think you mean the markdown file. I'll open that up. Meanwhile, when one presents, maybe in the end, it'll show. Are you using Claude Code? So I'm using Claude Code. So this is the code part in Claude Desktop itself. So Cowork will not have the capability of using Chrome and ffmpeg in the way Claude Code is able to do, and even some of the curl requests. So Cowork does not have all the functionalities that Claude Code is able to do. Is there a particular skill that you're using? This is completely built from scratch based on my experience giving that inputs, etc. I have not used a particular community skill or anything. Right. Okay, so yeah, before we move to other questions, etc., I just wanted to, because we are exceeding the official time, there are two things that we wanted to share. One, of course, and if you see, the basic difference between the two processes is that one is where you have to do a lot of setup, right? Which is with Claude Code, you have to build either a D2C playbook or a real estate playbook, or whatever playbook your particular brand is. You need to provide that harness so that Claude is using that information to string it in a particular flow. Whereas what Ben has been doing is he has created more he has already gone through maybe 20 models and created those connections. In case of Claude, you will have to connect that. And there are different people. Some people prefer doing it on their own hands-on so that they have full customization. Some people will prefer maybe using Kyne. So it's up to you, right, on what you want to build. There are two things that we wanted to share. One is I'm running a Claude Code for Marketers course in which we go over Meta Ads MCP, Google Ads MCP, and creating how to create similar automations and workflows, etc. And there are like 3-4 sessions that we conduct. We already completed cohort 1, got really good feedback. Starting cohort 2 on 1st August. The early bird pricing for that expires on 11th July, which is on Saturday. So if you are keen, please visit the website and register. I put the link in chat as well. And happy to answer any questions offline related to that. And second is, you can see the QR code scanner. If you want to join Kyne Beta, where Ben is actively wanting to work on some pilots with some brands, etc., and see their tools, please scan that and register. It's a Google form, very 3-4 questions, just your name and details in there. Please submit that in so that Ben can then reach out to you and do the beta thing together. I think there is one question. So yeah, just to show you, like I think it will be criminal to ask everybody to wait now, but so this is what it did. Like after I switched over to Ben, like it gave me that storyboard. I gave a go ahead on the storyboard with 0 to 4 seconds, etc. What all different things it should show. Then it asked me specifically which model I should use, how much money it is going to spend on the go ahead. So I've been very precise in terms of the cost part of it, so that it always asks before running that. It went on trying to find different narrators than my default narrator. I use the default narrator in HeyGen that we have. Then it pinged both HeyGen and VO, got the clips, etc. And right now what it is doing is what an editor would do in Canva, right? So it is beat map lock to the audio. So all these things it has done already. And it has evaluated the scenes also. So there is something that failed in between. So if you read this over here, 2 things on the VO lane, scene 2 succeeded, but scene 1 got filtered by vertex safety because it mentioned dry, flaky, redness, frustrated skin, right? So these are the things, iterations that it is doing on its own, because vertex safety filtered it. It sort of reprompted and created maybe not that that heavy in terms of medical terms, but it gave another version to VO to run it. And now it is sort of has taken all these clips and it is compiling that. That compiling part, sometimes it takes a bit of time because it is using processing of, my guess is because I'm recording the video, I'm running this engine, the processing of my system is getting occupied. That's why it's taking a bit more time than what it naturally generally does. It is much faster when I'm doing without sharing screen, etc. Right. So yeah, so that's it. What I'll do is I'll send the final video what came out of this run with everybody. And thanks everyone. Thanks for joining in. And we'll connect whoever has registered and connected with us.